And hello, everyone. Welcome to Power Scanning. It is February the 28th, 2026. And once again, today, we will be on the lookout for the most interesting swing trading setups for the week and the weeks ahead. My name is Daniel, and I will be your moderator throughout the session. I'm greeting you today from rainy Montreal. Yeah, it doesn't sound very appealing, rainy, but to me, that's the first sign that winter perhaps is slowly coming to an end. It's the end of February, so it's about time that things are going to get warmer again. It's raining. It's above 0 degrees centigrade, so it's melting a little bit outside. So perhaps the first sign of improving weather conditions here in Montreal. So where are you guys calling in from? So I'm calling in from Montreal. Who else do we have in the room today? So we have Robert. He's saying Servus aus Bayern from Bavaria in Germany. Hey, Robert, how are you? Keith from Scotland, and it's raining there too. Yeah. Well, of course, that's not very surprising. Edda from Hamburg. Hey, Edda, how's it going? How is Hamburg? Lenny from New York City, 8 degrees centigrade. Thanks for doing the conversion for us, Lenny. I know that's not the unit of measurement you normally use for weather in in New York. A brisk, sunny winter day. All right, perfect. Okay, Daryl from San Francisco. Hey, Daryl, how's it going over there on the West Coast? Aubrey from crisp but sunny Cyprus. Hey, Aubrey, how are you? Fabian from Hanover, 13 degrees. Wow, that's definitely much warmer than here. I would estimate maybe here on 1 or 2 degrees outside. It's my guess. All right, we have Danica from K-Town, Kaiserslautern in Germany as well. Hey, Danica, no rain in K-Town. Good. I'm happy for you. Andreas from Mainz near Frankfurt. Hey, Andreas, how are you? And Derek says hello from Ontario. I believe Ottawa. Is that correct, Derek? If I remember correctly. And Danica says even 16 degrees centigrade. Wow, that's definitely spring-like weather in K-Town in Kaiserslautern in Germany. Germany. Well, thanks guys so much for sharing your location and your weather conditions over there. Let's get started. All right. So what we will be doing today is to look what we call swing trades, which typically, it's not written in stone, last between 1 and 20 weeks. So it's not a day trade, which you may open and close within the same day. And definitely also not a long-term investment, which you may hold for many years or perhaps for all your life. So a swing trade is right in the middle of these two extremes. And what we're going to be doing today is something very smart because we will be scanning for interesting swing trading setups. And the way we're going to do it is in a very efficient manner. We call this the 13-minute strategy. I think 30 minutes is even too long because as you will see, especially for those of you who are joining us today, perhaps for the very first time, as you will see, this is something that can be done in just a couple of minutes, really efficiently using our trade scanner called Liquidity View. How this works, we're going to discover together today. Now, let me quickly introduce ourselves. So, especially for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are tradingindicators.com. And by the way, if you are joining us for the first time today, please put a 1 into the Q&A box. I'm going to give you, a personal hello and welcome to our trading community, should that be the case. Well, we are tradingindicators.com. And as our name suggests, we are specialized on creating innovative trading indicators. That was our bread and butter. And we've done this for many, many years for clients all over the world and for all major trading platforms. But of course, having your indicators on the chart, that's one thing. But the second thing is, finding the right charts, finding symbols which actually currently have interesting setups. This is why we have also developed a very powerful trade scanner called Liquidity View. We're going to be using this trade scanner today to find among thousands of stocks and ETFs, the ones which currently have the best setups and which might become of interest for the next week. Most of what we do is based on technical analysis. And Brian says he's here for the first time. Hey, Brian, welcome to the club. Welcome to our trading community. It's really nice to have you. And Brian, where are you calling in from? Just out of curiosity. All right. So most of what we do is based on technical analysis, which is basically a mathematical analysis of your price chart, a pattern analysis of your price chart. And based on what we see, we're trying to forecast what may happen in the future. Let's be real. Trading, to some degree or to a big degree, in fact, is about forecasting the future, where price and when price will be in the future. This is what trading is all about. We believe that technical analysis is much, much simpler than fundamental analysis, and oftentimes also more accurate. Quick example, we all have heard the news of today, what's going on in the Middle East, and you may think, this is not a political judgment, but we think, hey, this may shake the markets a lot when the market opens. And it may happen, but it may not happen because we don't know, nobody really knows what was already priced into the market based on what's happening right now and what was not. It's impossible to know, and this is what makes fundamental analysis so inherently difficult. And this is why we will be focused on technical analysis, basically for 99%. The only time where we use fundamentals is when big events are happening. Maybe earnings are scheduled, or perhaps some news reports are coming out, which may shake the markets. Maybe this is when we want to stay away or want to wait until this event has passed. But this is as far as we go when it comes to technical analysis. We also believe that, technical analysis is something that everybody can master. It's really not rocket science, especially if you use the right tools which help you, which do all the heavy lifting for you. All right. So having this said, I do need to remind you that trading does contain risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance or really anything based on historical price data, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and setups and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right, so let's go through a couple of housekeeping items. First off, what we will be doing today is to interactively scan for interesting setups, for swing trading setups, using our trade scanner called Liquidity View. Now, it would be best, I think most educational, if you would follow along, if you had the dashboard open at the same time. Therefore, if you don't have access yet to our dashboard, we are happy to offer you a full week of a free trial so that you can follow along right now. And all you need to do, and Niklas, please put this link into the chat, is to go to tradingindicators.com/view, follow the process, sign up to our dashboard, either with the monthly or yearly option. You will not be charged for a full week, and you have a full week to try it out. You can cancel at any time. And if you cancel before that week expires, no charge will be taken at all. But of course, if you want to stay on, we have interesting monthly and yearly options as well. And the best thing is that you will get access instantaneously. This will take less than a minute, I promise you, to get access to our dashboard, and therefore you can follow along. All right, next, I'm not sure who was there. It was fairly well attended. We recorded a brand new bootcamp on the Liquidity dashboard last Thursday, 2 days ago. It was a very detailed session. It was 3 hours with one small break in the middle, a very comprehensive session about covering all the different features of our dashboard. Yeah, and the fact that it took 3 hours to explain all these features shows you a little bit how powerful this dashboard is. And the reason why we've spent all the time of the to record this bootcamp is to show you what this dashboard has to offer, so that you as a trader can pick the elements which might help you with your trading the most. We all have different trading styles, different preferences, different ideas, and now you know what is possible with the dashboard and which features might be of benefit to you. So if you want to check out this brand new bootcamp, it's hot off the press, as we would say, simply go to tradingindicators.com/bootcamp for this. And two more things. We do have a Discord channel available at tradingindicators.com/Discord. Check it out. In that channel, we talk trading, we post charts, we discuss setups, we answer questions, and so forth. It's completely free to join. And lastly, we do have also an ebook called The Power of Three. Download is completely free at tradingindicators.com/power of three. Niklas will put this link also into the chat. So that you can check out the dashboard. It's about the 3 main setups that we typically trade ourselves when it comes to swing trading. And lastly, if you have any ideas or requests or any feedback regarding our dashboard, please don't hold back. Your feedback is what drives the further development and improvement of Liquidity View, our dashboard. So please, give us as much feedback as possible that we can continue to improve the dashboard. And Lastly, Brian is saying he's calling us. Brian is a new user today. He's calling us from upstate New York near Saratoga Springs. That's great. That must be not too far away from the border to Canada, I believe. I just almost 2 weeks ago, I drove from New York City, from New York Airport, all the way to Montreal on the 87 interstate. It was a very nice drive up. So I guess you're not too far away from there. 3 hours to Montreal. Perfect. All right. I guess about halfway through. Okay. Um, I guess is that near Lake George, Brian? I'm gonna Google it a bit later. When I believe it is, huh? I think I saw Saratoga Springs when I drove through it. Not that I think about it. Yeah, south of Lake George by 20 minutes. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Brian. And sorry for the yeah, talking about a bit of geography here. All right, let's start with our market review. Let's jump right into it. What's going on? So I'm gonna go to our dashboard. There we go. And we're gonna start with the SPY. All right, the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So what do we see? All right, well, it doesn't take a PhD in finance to see what's going on right now. Let me zoom in a little bit. We are definitely in some sort of congestion zone. Yeah, let me just go back a little bit here. I'm going to draw some lines onto the chart. I believe probably since back here, or maybe since beginning of January, up until now, we are trading in a very tight range. I can see it's fairly range bound to the downside by like 670 around, maybe to the upside around 700. This is where prices have been bouncing back and forth. And last week was no exception to this. And we're going to see what happens on Monday. Of course, there's some political news coming out. Maybe you're going to see it, perhaps, as I said, we never really know what is already priced in. I would imagine we probably see a bit of a bounce in the markets, but nothing too dramatic. That's my forecast for Monday when the market opens. Of course, we don't know, but perhaps a bounce towards this level here, the 670 level, 677. And this could be, once again, an interesting opportunity to potentially get long the SPY in anticipation. Yeah, this sideways consolidation is going to continue for quite some time longer. Right now, we do see a level 4 pullback right here on our trend radar indicator. And of course, in the past, these red patches, you see it here, here, and so forth, these had been interesting long opportunities to enter long into the prevailing uptrend in the SPY. And perhaps if we see a bounce toward this level, this probably is going to stay a level 4 pullback nonetheless. This could be an interesting long opportunity once again in the SPY when the market opens on Monday. All right, so this was the SPY. What about the Qs, the Nasdaq 100 ETF? Let's check it out. All right, so pretty much the same story also here. We are seeing some sideways consolidation in the Qs, with the exception that in the Qs, we are even further away from our all-time highs. We made the all-time highs here back in October. And ever since, we've been drifting back and forth in the Qs, a bit of indecision in the market, in technology. And I believe this will continue probably into the next weeks. And, whenever we see a pullback right now, it's a level 4 pullback also here on the Qs. These had been also here interesting long opportunities, anticipating, okay, we're going to see a bounce once again off these levels towards higher price levels. So I guess we're going to see where the market opens. Even if you see a bigger bounce all the way down to the support level, to me, this makes even a bigger opportunity to potentially get into the Qs at a better entry price. So we're going to see what happens there. In the Russell, the IWM, what do we see here? Well, first of all, we see that we gapped down on Friday when the market opens, a little bit of a gap. And we said this before. Down gaps are bullish setups. Why is that? It sounds a bit strange. And we gap down. Why would that possibly be bullish? Well, because gaps oftentimes, there's no guarantees, but oftentimes they get filled and tested. And of course, for this down gap to get filled and tested, where does price need to go? It needs to go up. And this is why we call this a bullish setup. So I believe this could also be right now. We have a level 3 pullback here in the Russell, an interesting opportunity to potentially look for longs. Just a little scalp, a little swing trade for a couple of days, maybe a week, to anticipate, okay, also here we're going to see higher price levels moving into the next week. But of course, it's all contingent of where we will open. Yeah. So if you open all the way down, if there's a big gap based on what's happening over the weekend, maybe things will change. We're going to keep an eye on this on Monday, of course, when the market opens, or even on Sunday night when the futures market open. But my expectation is we may see a bit of a bounce, but nothing dramatic. And once again, if this happens, I see this as an opportunity to potentially establish a long position or add to a long position in the Russell as well. All right. So, by the way, guys, I've looked at Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin next. Because I was wondering, hey, all the markets are closed except for the crypto markets, which trade 24/7 every single day with no break. What's going on with Bitcoins? I'm going to open to the live chart here. And if you look, let's go to the 30-minute chart here. What do we see here? Nothing really much. Do you see this here? And you would think, okay, has Bitcoin to do with global news and political events? Well, it's all somewhat correlated. So I thought at least there'll be some action going in here in Bitcoin, but nothing. And look how calm things are. This is, to me, a first sign, because we will see that the market reaction on Monday when the market opens will not be dramatic, because here the market is still open. Bitcoin basically is not doing anything. It's just doing its usual movements as it always has. It even recovered a bit to the upside. All right. But talking about Bitcoin from a longer term perspective, let me quickly hide these levels here for 1 second. There we go. So what's going on? Well, we said it was a big question mark last week and the week before. It is still a big question mark. I hold a long-term Bitcoin position as an investment. I established this a long time ago, so I just keep this as a buy and hold. And I added to this position when we came down to 70,000, around this price level. Now prices are a bit lower, but I thought, okay, potentially this could be near a low point in Bitcoin. And I was encouraged by the fact, I'm going to put my drawings back on here. I was encouraged by the fact that this level where we are right now, around the 60,000 price level, we're trading at 64,000 right now, coincides with just go back a little bit to the right here, coincides with the 61.8 FIB retracement level. So oftentimes, if we see a larger retracement, which of course we did in Bitcoin, a big move up, large retracement, it oftentimes stops around this level, 61.8. So we are near this level now, and perhaps this will be the bottom before the overarching uptrend in Bitcoin will continue. But once again, it's a big question mark. All right, let's talk about something where I believe the question mark might not be as big. What about US or the United States oil fund? Look where we are right now. And of course, there's some political news which may affect the oil prices. Who knows? When it comes out, but look where we are right now. We've been very patient with oil. Prices are once again inching a little bit closer to our magical level of 83. This level up here, this blue line, which I talked about like so many times. Every time when I talk about oil, I talk about this level. This is a key resistance level. Look how many times price came up to the level and bounced. Came up to the level and bounced again, and now we're super close. And I'm still waiting a little bit longer where we will be on Monday. Maybe we're going to get to this level, and I might use this as an opportunity to establish a short position in some way, either through some puts or perhaps directly shorting USO. Possibly not. I'm probably leaning towards the puts in this case, because puts are, even though not the cheapest, they are still somewhat affordable at 5.35 heat index. Once again, the heat index, and this is also explained in our bootcamp, basically estimates the cost of options with 30 days expiration at the money. So in this case, you will get 5.35, or you would have to pay 5.35% of the price of the underlying of 83. And the actual real option price would be 4.38 per contract for the at the money options 30 days out. All right, so if this happens, maybe I'm going to look at some puts, buy some puts here, anticipating, okay, we may see a sharp bounce again. Of course, if this happens, if you see a sharp reversal, these puts will be quite profitable. Well, we're going to get there next week, I believe, or at least at some point. All right, so gold and silver, what's going on there? Well, we called it out last week. Gold, I believe, is on its way. I'm fairly certain on its way to full recovery of the losses that gold incurred when we had this big sell-off here on January the 29th. We came back all the way to this entry level here. I sold I sold puts multiple times during this move. Once when this first move happened, I bought them back a long time ago. And then once again, when we had a second drop down here, I sold more puts. I also bought these ones back. And right now I'm flat in gold. And I think personally, but of course, this is just my opinion, I will wait until we see something like this on Trend Radar, another pullback, level 3 or perhaps level 4 pullback on Trend Radar, and then I'm going to be looking for new longs in gold. But it looks quite bullish again. It's quite astonishing how fast this big drop here has been bought up. Now I think we're well on our way towards all-time highs or approaching the high point here in GLD. What about silver? It's our last symbol. All right, let's take a quick look. What's going on with silver? Well, silver also dropped, of course, quite a bit. And if you measure this out, Bitcoin, this drop was, I think, around 18, 19%. In silver, if we measure this from the high point down to the low point, 40%. You can see it here, 40% drop. And what's interesting is that what we have recovered so far, of course, we did recover nicely. I also had some short puts in silver. They're also bought back right now. What has been recovered so far is only 18%. So we're still trading 22% below our high point at the moment. This shows you that the recovery of gold was much, much quicker than silver. And I'm careful right now on silver because I think maybe, but of course I might be completely wrong, maybe you're going to see another pull back lower. If this happens, I think I'm looking at selling some puts again. But right now, I'm just going to stay on the sidelines and waiting for this pullback to happen. At least that's my take on it. All right, so this was the global market review. Niklas, do we have any questions so far? Or can we proceed with our scanning?
Just gonna check.
Okay, and Aubrey says something about Bitcoin. He says the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, drawn from November 2022, from the lows of November 2022, sits right around current price of 64,000. Yeah, maybe another sign of it's decision time in Bitcoin. I really believe if we lose the 60,000 level, maybe it's gonna tank even more. For me, it's fingers crossed this will not happen.
50,000 will probably be on the
for
menu
my
if
long
that gets
position,
lost.
but of course it is a possibility. And this may say it again, Nicholas.
Oh,
You just
sorry,
broke off
bit of
for a
lag. I just said 50,000 would probably be on the menu if 60 gets lost.
Yeah, or maybe even lower. Who knows? Yeah. So it's kind of decision time in Bitcoin. Hopefully this level will hold. We're gonna see a nice recovery. Could be good opportunity, but yeah, as always, the market may stay irrational for longer. Yeah.
Is there no heat index for SLV?
There is. I noticed that too. For some reason, it was not calculated. I'm gonna fix this. It's a bug. It'll be fixed. Yeah. And because there's something off with your microphone, maybe just a quick double check this. It's a bit I would say yeah, scratchy. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go back to our slides because now what we're gonna do is we will start our scanning process. So what we're gonna do is to look for interesting swing trading setups. A couple of preconditions for this. First off, I will be focusing today on long trades. Not just today, this is typically what we do. Why? Well, for two reasons. First of all, our trade scanner scans mainly through stocks and ETFs. Okay, that's reason number one. And reason number two is stocks and ETFs tend to have a bias towards the upside, a bullish bias. And I want to take advantage of this bullish bias. This is why we're gonna, focus on long trades today. But not just any long trade. We don't want to go in blindly long. We want to trade long when odds are stacked in our favor. And one thing that we want to capitalize on is, something that traders often say is the trend is your friend. A trend oftentimes is more likely to continue than to reverse. So for this, we're going to be focusing on stocks which are already in a well-established long trend. We're going to find these. It's very easy to find them with our scanner. I'll show you how to do it. Well-established long-term trend is precondition number one. But as a trend trader, because that's technically what we'll be doing, there are good moments to get into a trend trade, and there are not so good moments. For example, a not so good moment is to get into a trend trade, into a long trade, when prices are very extended. We are very far away from our averages, because then the danger that a pullback may happen, I believe, is quite elevated. Instead, what we will be doing today is we will patiently be sitting on our hands. Well, or at least we will wait until the stock has pulled back towards towards the mean levels, like these average lines here. We call this a healthy pullback. Because why is that? Well, because a pullback, of course, can be very shallow. Can be just very little, maybe a little level 1 here on Trend Radar, like this one, super shallow pullbacks. That's not enough for us. We want this pullback to be sizable, yeah, a decent pullback, either level 3 and Trend Radar or level 4. And on top of this, we don't want it to be too big. Yeah, right in the middle. So a bit of a pullback, yeah, that the overarching trend is not in danger, yet not too small, so that we we don't really see a big price move, a big correction. So right in the middle of these two extremes, we call this the healthy pullback. And then ideally, in the perfect world, this pullback will coincide with a technical level, either a key support level or a key resistance level. And I want to say something now, because we always, talk about support and resistance. I made a decision for myself. I don't even want to think in these terms anymore. I just want to think in terms of levels. That's it. Because what really matters is not what the color of the level is, whether it's technically called support or technically called resistance. It's not really important. What is important is from where price approaches this level. If we come from the upside towards a level, it will serve as support. And if we come from the downside towards the level, it could be the same color. If you come from the downside towards the level, it will act as resistance. This is all that we need to worry about. From where are we approaching a level on the chart? The color doesn't really matter that much. Okay? So once again, if we come from the downside, it's resistance. If we come from the upside down to a level, it's support. That's all we want to focus on today. Okay? All right, so let's go to the scanner and let's scan for some setups. And I'm telling you, there's some interesting ones today. Of course, all contingent of what happens on Monday. The market might move a lot, and of course, all bets are off. But as of right now, there are some really interesting setups. So let's try to find them together. So criteria number 1 was we want to be in a long-term uptrend. How can we figure this one out? So let me quickly actually sort. Oops. What is going on? 1 second. 1 second. It's a little technical bug here. I hope I think I didn't use it in a while, so I got locked out. Just give me 1 second here in our dashboard. All right, we're back in. Actually, I wonder if with this, no, still no heat index. Yeah, we're gonna fix this heat index for silver. As something is buggy, but it's gonna be fixed tomorrow. All right, so what we want to find are stocks which have been in a long-term uptrend. And we can tell whether we are in an uptrend or in a downtrend by means of our MA rush indicator. For example, here for Alcoa, we can see, okay, on the symbol Alcoa, our MA rush indicator tells us since October 20th, 2025, we are in a bullish trend. Right. And if you are counting the bars all the way from the last candle back to this label, we would get exactly to 89 candles. How do I know this? I didn't just quickly count all these candles. No, I could see this directly in my scanner here. You can see it here for Alcoa AA. We are in an uptrend for 89 days. This is exactly what you can read in this column here. It's called MA Rush because the indicator which shows us these labels is also called MA Rush. So what we can do now is we can leverage this scan column here and use a filter and tell the filter, hey, filter, show me only the symbols which are bullish and where the bullish signal is at least 500 bars old. And I do this because I only want to see symbols which are in a very established long-term uptrend for at least 500 trading days. You can see once I do this, we filtered away almost a big margin, maybe 70% of our symbols, all the way from 5,700 down to only 798. So 798 symbols are currently in a long-term bullish trend. And we can see this here. For example, the first one, A2A.mi, an Italian stock. Yeah. If you scroll back, even though it's been sideways as of late, we can see if you go back here, yeah, this stock even further, you can see it here, has been an uptrend since April 26, 2023. This is exactly 721 trading days ago. All right. So that was that. But now the next question is, would I enter right now? Let's find a good example here. Would I enter right now into this symbol or another symbol which is currently, in the long-term uptrend? Well, let me remind you, because I don't want to enter when prices are expensive. I want to patiently wait until we see some sort of a pullback. And for this, we're going to use this indicator down here. It's called trend radar. You can see here it's a heat map underneath the price chart, which for this particular symbol, it shows us everything is mainly green with some red patches every once in a while. At the very last candle, we can see a little red patch of just one level down. That's a level 1 pullback. We can see this one here in our scanner as well. Look at this one here, number 1. To me, this is too shallow. I want to see a more sizable pullback. So we're going to be looking for at least level 3 pullbacks, like this one here, or level 4 pullbacks. So this is what I'm looking for. A deeper pullback within an overarching uptrend. And we can filter for this by going to our pullback column here, which is based on this trend radar indicator, and select the filter and select, okay, either level 3 or level 4. I'm going to check both these levels here. You can do multiple selection. Once I do this, we can see that only 181 stocks are remaining now. Wow, that's already much better. But there's one more thing I want to do. So let's just look at this example here. Would I enter right now into this stock, even though it has a nice pullback? I mean, this looks pretty, interesting. But ideally, I want to stack my odds even one step further. I want this pullback to coincide with a technical level on the chart. So in this case, there is no technical level here. The next one is all the way down here at $10. It's far away as far as the stock is concerned. So how can we find out which of these pullback stocks are currently coinciding with a key technical level? This is where our Liquidity IQ indicator comes in, which specializes in drawing these key technical levels on the chart. You can see these green levels here or these red levels. So what we can do in our Liquidity IQ setup column here, which is based on this indicator, we can go to the filter once again and select long bounce. Long bounce means, let me give you an example here. We are near a technical support level, like Celestica, actually a really good symbol, which we're going to revisit later on today. Yeah, so this is a great pullback, which I really enjoy, or long break retrace in this filter. So long break retrace means we pulled back to a green level, which technically is was resistance. So for example, this one here, ABCB. Yeah, you can see it here. We came above resistance and pulled back towards the broken resistance level. And remember what we said in the beginning, it doesn't really matter what is the color of this level, whether it's red or green, whether it's technically called support or technically called resistance. What really matters is from where are we approaching this level. If we come from the upside, it will act as support regardless of the color. Okay? All right. So once I enabled these filters, we're now down to only 18 stocks. Isn't that cool? I do one last thing. I like to sort by trend duration. So you can see these numbers here in our MA Rush column. This is our trend duration. I like to sort from highest to lowest by just clicking on this on this column here. And I'm sorting from highest to lowest. And the one that has been listed first here is NPO. Let's go there. It is NPRO Inc. All right, let's check it out. What do we see here? We see, one second. We do have a level 3 pullback. We are on a long-term uptrend, and we just pulled back to this key level. I like the setup. It's going to be our first symbol for our hot list for next week. So let's get this started. I'm going to go to my drop down here and create this hot list. And by the way, I forgot to review what we picked last week. I'm going to do this at the end of this presentation. So I'm going to create a new watch list now called weekly swing trades, 2020, 6, 0228. There we go. I click create, and I will add this symbol to this watch. Oops, this symbol to this watch list. There we go. And I will now also share this watch list with you guys using this share button. This is a feature which only I have as an administrator. And I will also unshare the watch list from January 24th. All right, done. Perfect. So first symbol is NPro Inc. Yeah, very interesting long setup. Next one, GetX. GetX Corporation. Yeah, same thing. Look at this one. Beautiful break above resistance. We initially went up and then the retracement down to the broken level. We're approaching it from the upside. I like it. Level 3 pullback. I think we may see a bit of more downside action when the market opens, but nonetheless, an interesting setup. I'm going to add this one as well to our watch list. All right. Oops. And you see these are really beautiful technical setups. Yeah, it's a very clean upwards move with a clean downwards move. Dow Jones Index, the big indices. And of course, guys, if something crazy happens over the weekend, and there will be a big reaction of the market, of course, then these setups are probably not valid anymore. But we will find out on Monday. And of course, only on Monday you could act on these setups anyways. So just keep this in mind. Okay, so the Dow Jones Industrial Index, yeah, also here after the all-time highs in the Dow, the retracement down to 48,900, maybe a bit lower. Same thing. I also see this one as an interesting opportunity to enter into a long trade if we perhaps come down a little bit further. Nice. Next, Celestica. Yep, good one. We had this one. When was it? Let me just quickly look at our trade notes here. We had this symbol 2 weeks ago on Feb 15, a very similar setup. We just came off this resistance level here down to support. We anticipated a bounce of this level. Let's see what happened. You can see it here. We came on Feb 15 here down to this level. And what happened? A beautiful bounce off this level. So you could have benefited from this. Now, once again, we're coming down here, and we may see a bounce again. The only thing here with Celestica, let me just quickly see. 1 second here. Oh no, I thought earnings were coming up on Monday, didn't they? Let me just quickly double check here in Trading View. Bear with me for 1 second. No, all good. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm confusing this with something else. Yeah, interesting one, especially also here if you're an options trader. Look what I see here in the heat index for options, 9.04. That's expensive. So if you believe, okay, Celestica is a stock which is in the very long-term established uptrend, and if you believe that this uptrend is going to continue, yeah, and if you believe that Celestica could be a stock in your portfolio anyways, even if you get assigned, then selling some puts at current prices could be an interesting opportunity because you will get 9% of relative to the stock price as an options premium. Or in absolute terms, you would get about $25 per share as a premium. So $2,500 for a $100 contract. It's big. It's a massive, it's an expensive stock, but perhaps something to consider. And of course, if you want to reduce your risk a little bit in your price, you could sell some puts here and buy some puts below, which is a strategy which works nicely if options are expensive for this particular symbol. Nonetheless, I'm going to add this one to our list. All right. So interesting for next week. All right. The Etihad. I wonder if this is related to the airline. Let me just quickly have a look. No, something else. Okay. Yeah, also interesting. I don't really know anything about this. I'm going to not put this onto our list, especially if there's stuff going on in the Middle East. Maybe something that's a bit too hot for me, so I'm going to skip this one. The iShares US Technology ETF, the IYW. Yeah, technology has been retracing a bit, and many people say, okay, we may see a bottom here at this support level here. Could be something of interest as well. So I'm going to add this one also to our list. Yeah. Perfect. You can see that there's many interesting setups available right now, which we can find right off the bat using our dashboard. DXP Enterprises. All right. Yeah, this one is not as clean. Here, when I look for a stock, to trade, I want to see like a nice, clean, smooth uptrend. This one is a bit too jaggedy, yeah, big retracements here, a bit too volatile. I'm gonna skip this one for today. And perhaps one more. Let me just go down a little bit further because I wanted to see where is Marriott. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm backing up a little bit. So our criteria right now, let's just review real quick, were long-term uptrend. We're going to keep this one the way it is. We are coming down to a key level. That's good as well. And we are requiring a level 3 or level 4 pullback. Sometimes this criteria here for the pullback is a bit too strict. So what I like to do, once I do my initial run through through our list here, I like to take away this criteria just to see what else we see in terms of symbols. So I'm going to take this away. So I'm removing this filter. And now some of these symbols which became interesting right now are, for example, this one down here. And I'm really curious. I'm going to skip these ones. IBM is part of the list. Now, IBM got punished quite a bit because some news and, AI impeding on their business and so forth. A big drop on Monday, right to this support level. We even went a bit lower, but a bit of a recovery afterwards. And if you believe IBM, it's too big to fail. IBM will recover from this drop. This could be, in my view, an interesting value play. Of course, IBM is part of basically every single business of some sort, or bigger business. Maybe something to consider as a value play to get into IBM at a reasonable price with some evidence that this big drop perhaps has found a bottom right here and now prices might recover. So just something to be pointed out. I'll keep it on my watch list. I will personally not act on it because software, it's a bit unpredictable right now what the effect of AI and all these disruptive new technologies will be. So I'm not going to do it. But if you're looking for a value play, this could be something of interest. Then we had one more, which is Marriott. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of other ones here. Marriott also is an interesting play. We had Marriott a few times on our list before. What do we see here? We see we had the zone break above resistance. We came up, and now the retracement down. We're not quite at this level here yet. And what's interesting about this one here is that there's a gap right here, an up gap to be filled. And I believe, that's my guess, that we're going to see a gap fill next week. So we're going to come down towards this level. This gap will then be filled. And if this happens, if we come down to this level, I believe you're going to see at least a level 3 pullback on trend radar. Right now, it's only 2 levels. And secondly, this could be a very interesting long opportunity into Marriott, into a long position here, anticipating this long-term uptrend is going to continue. So this stock I'm going to also add to our list. All right. Perfect. Niklas, any questions so far?
Let me take a look. And sorry for my microphone wallet here, Daniel. I'm not sure what's happening.
It's
We
good
have a
now.
couple symbol requests. Aubrey says Microsoft looks very similar to IBM, but bearish.
Yeah. But But I think I don't know why Microsoft also it went down. So I guess all the tech uh, companies went down a bit. But yeah, it looks bearish. It actually did go bearish here as per trend radar a couple of days ago. But here we're not at a key level yet. We're still kind of in the middle between support and resistance. So Microsoft, I would probably wait. Maybe it comes down even a bit further. If it does, maybe down to this level here at 344, this could be a nice value play too. I agree.
Thank you. And then Amy says, Amy, I'm putting the link again to our boot camp. So Amy wanted you to explain how you use all of your indicators, but she also wanted
Yeah.
to know, are these available for Thinkorswim?
Yeah. So the indicators that you see on the chart right now, these are all available for Thinkorswim as well. Send us an email afterwards, and Niklas, please put the info at email address into the chat. Send us an email afterwards, and I will let you know how you can get these indicators for TOS. Yeah. So Mirage is available, Liquidity IQ is available, and also Trend Radar is available for TOS.
And Erwin, do we have a live trade room to see this work in real time?
We sometimes so when we do live trading, just for the very nature, we typically focus on day trading. So we use the same indicators, but for a much smaller time frame. We just had our last live trading workshop on Wednesday morning. So we have these about once a week, oh, sorry, once a week, once a month. Uh, and we day trade futures there based on the very same principles, based on pullbacks to key levels, based on trend and so forth. It's the same thing, just on a smaller time frame because we aim in these live trading sessions to, open a trade and close out the trade within the same session. Yeah.
And we have a question, Daniel. How do you generally know when a stock is overextended?
Yeah. Oh, let's look at silver. It's
And we
very
have
clear.
another question, Daniel, if you could look at it after from Jans, but it's in German.
Oh, okay. I'll check. I'll check it out. Yeah. So it is extended when we are far away from our averages. Look at this one here, silver. Of course, it's hindsight, but you can see how far prices are away from these average lines. That to me is a clear sign that we are extended. Right now, we are getting extended again, but at some point we will not extend it anymore. In fact, prices dropped exactly towards these intermediate lines, these average lines, after the big correction. So I personally like to wait for these ones once we get into this territory to look for long positions. And Jens is wondering, well, if you want to, it's the same thing. Jens is asking, can I trade these setups of CFDs, maybe for MT4 and MT5? Yeah, absolutely. It should be pretty much the same thing because these CFDs that follow stocks, I get very similar price data, just the actual stock price. So if you see it's an interesting setup in Marriott. Yeah, and there's a CFD for Marriott. Where is it? Where's Marriott? There we go. Yeah, if Marriott goes up based on the setup here, then the CFD will also go up. That should be no problem. Mhm.
Thanks, Daniel. And then we just have similar requests for later.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right, so I'm gonna review quickly now what is on our watch list for next week. So I'm gonna go down to my watch list here. Weekly swing trades, only 7. That's still a good amount. I like all of them, but I'm telling you, it's contingent of what will be on Monday. So if we see a big gap in the market, there, if things escalate and get beyond what was expected, then I think all bets are off. Then I'm just gonna wait and see on all of these setups. But if things are calm and still in the vicinity of where we think we prices should be or where prices were on Friday, then I think these are interesting setups. So let's quickly go through them. Enpro Inc. All right. So yeah, interesting one. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Zone break retrace towards this level. I like it. I'm going to add it to our trade notes here. All right. I'll put a little trade note. Just to remind myself when we discussed this setup. All righty. Safe. Okay. There we go. And somebody said GetX had earnings. Is that correct? DAX just said, okay, they just had earnings. Okay, let's have a quick look. Did they? Did they have? Let me just quickly see on TradingView here. Just a second, guys. Yeah, they did. Oh yeah, a couple. They had earnings. Yeah, a couple. More than a week ago, actually, for GetX. Yeah. Interesting one. I like it a lot. Level 3 pullback. Definitely gonna be on our list as well. All right. Perfect. Come on. It's a bit slow. There we go. Close. IBM. I'm not going to add it to my trade now. It's because technically it is not qualifying for all our criteria. It's not a healthy pullback anymore. It got all red here. This support level technically was broken as well. We went a bit lower. So it's not the cleanest. It's just think from a value play point of view. Value play meaning, hey, I don't mind holding IBM for a couple of years, perhaps. That could be an interesting level. But from a swing trading point of view, it's not the cleanest setup. I'm gonna skip it for that reason. For our trade notes, yeah, the Dow Jones Industrial Index, I see no issue here. Once again, if markets behave after the news, we're still in the vicinity. I think this could be an interesting long opportunity. So I'm gonna definitely add this one. All right, let's go. Save. And next one is Celestica. I like it, especially of these high option prices for potentially a strategy which is based on selling options, selling puts, perhaps buy some puts with a lower strike price just to reduce your risk a little bit. Could be something of interest here as well. So I'm definitely gonna add Celestica to our list. Okay, we already had it. We're gonna add a new trade note and edit. And then two more, Marriott and, all right, let's go. Marriott, interesting one as well. Now, if we come down to this level, that's contingent on this. I think this gap should get filled first before I look for longs. Okay, so here I'm gonna also add Marriott. I'm gonna, in fact, here wait for the gap to fill first. I think that's important. Otherwise, you always have the risk, hey, there's still an up gap which was not filled yet. And maybe a price is going to come down to fill it. I want this gap to get filled first and then look for longs. All right. And lastly, the technologies ETF, IYW. I mean, it's been so bullish. I think it's going to continue to be bullish. I like it as well. Um, After this bit of correction now, right at support here, we may see a nice bounce at this level towards higher price levels. I'm going to add this one here as well. Perfect. All right. I'm just going to check one more thing before we get to your questions because it's just for my own testing. I believe the heat index, for some reason, is currently not working for ETFs. That's why we don't see anything there. So I quickly check for the GLD. Real quick, do we have the heat index? No, we do. Ha, weird. Whatever. I'll get to the bottom of it why it doesn't show for some symbols. All right, now it's time for your symbol request. But before we do a quick review of what has happened last week with our picks. I forgot to do this in the beginning. So let's have a quick look at the watch list from last week. Weekly swing trades from February the 21st. A quick run through our top pick. I believe that was the one our newsletter as well was Walmart. Walmart, yeah, nicely bounced off this level, now trading higher. I believe this is going to have the start of another leg higher towards higher price levels. Palo Alto Networks, nothing really happened here, still trading at this support level, hoping for a bounce up. If you're not on this trade yet, maybe yeah, it doesn't look so appealing anymore now that the trend has changed to bearish here. So if you're not in the trade, maybe stay away from this one. Otherwise, perhaps close it out at plus minus zero right now. Northeast Bank, yeah, same thing. Around this resistance level, it got punished a bit like many of the other banking stocks. Trip.com, nothing changed here. Still at the support level, unchanged. Banco Latinoamericano. Yeah, beautiful bounce of this level. Even though it was a bit bearish on Friday, but here we had a nice zone break retrace that worked out nicely. Visa, yeah, went below support and then recovered. Yeah, big, like many banking stocks, financial products down. Nice recovery. So no harm, no foul here. And then Brady Corporation. Now probably maybe the best trade. Nice recovery here of this pullback towards the broken resistance level and now trading at higher price levels. And the Van Eck Retail ATF RTH. Yeah, also nice balance of this intermediate resistance level here. So pretty good overall for these trades last week. And hopefully today's trades will fare similarly moving into the next week. All right. So what are the symbol requests? Niklas, please run them by me.
First one.
Sorry?
Oracle.
Oracle. Okay. All right. Oracle. What's going on? Let's take a look. Ah, yeah. I don't know. I personally think, I mean, it's such a strange price behavior. Right? All-time highs, Larry Edison, uh, richest man in the world in September, and now what a huge drop in Oracle. It's yeah. I'm gonna measure this out, but this is 100% retracement almost, obviously from the swing low here all the way to there, and now we're back to where we started. I think this could be support. I think so. Will I get in right now? Probably not. It's yeah, there have been some disruptive elements in the tech industry of all the AI news and technologies and so forth. Who knows which companies are going to survive this disruption? So I personally am not going to do anything, even though prices, of course, are now at a level where it's becoming a value play. But I personally am going to stay away from it. Yeah.
The next one is NVIDIA, and it dropped on good earnings. Can you comment
Yeah.
on an option with respect to NVIDIA as well?
Yeah. Great earnings, but I think the guidance, so the numbers were great. Of course, earnings always have two components. The actual numbers, how much money the company made in the last quarter, which was amazing, above expectations. And then there's also guidance, basically an indication of, where does the company see it's going into the future. And I think there were some doubts that these kind of performances are sustainable moving into the future. That's why it dropped a bit. Uh, I think this can be an opportunity. I think Nvidia is the player out there. If I had to bet on a horse in the AI space, in this industry, it probably would be Nvidia. And now with this pullback down to support here, if we come down even a bit further, this could be a great value play also for Nvidia. Yeah, I I kind of like it, like the fact that we pulled back. Another reason for the drop, I think, is because we were right at resistance here. So even with the good earnings, that we bounced off resistance towards lower price levels. Yeah. All right.
Oh, okay. And Anonymous wants to know, can you compare Liquidity IQ and TI Matrix?
Compare, yeah. So uh, you know, TI matrix is an indicator which doesn't give you visuals. It's basically a matrix consisting of numbers and some arrows, but it doesn't show you technical levels. So Liquidity IQ, on the other hand, is all about giving you the visuals on the chart. So that's one difference between the two. But of course, TI matrix at the levels it finds in terms of absolute numbers, just writes you what the number is. They oftentimes coincide with the levels that Liquidity IQ will find for you, but it doesn't give you the visuals. So in that sense, they are a bit overlapping. Um, but of course, there are parts which one indicator has and the other one does not have. For example, Liquidity IQ gives you concrete setups. It gives you even a stop loss levels. Just put this on here and take profit levels. For example, you can see where's my target for NVIDIA, where will be my stop loss, and so forth. Um, it gives you liquidity capture events, which are not in TI matrix and so forth. And on the other hand, TI matrix has information about the overarching trend, which is not in liquidity IQ. It has information about whether we are overbought and oversold and so forth. And it looks at multiple time frames. So yeah, two very valuable indicators, each serving its own purpose.
Can you please look at AZN?
AutoZone, I believe. Yeah. AZN.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh no,
AstraZeneca.
Astra. Oh no, not AstraZeneca. Yeah. Okay. These pharma companies, it's so hard to, let me just see, where are we coming from? I thought they had a big drop after COVID. No, they did not. Okay. All right. AstraZeneca. Yeah. Very bullish. In fact, let me just see here. Very extended. We broke above resistance. You can see it here on Feb 10. Nice move up. Would I get it up here? Probably not. I think it's a bit too extended or too far away from our averages, but nonetheless, it's an interesting stock for sure. For a long trip, but I would personally wait for a pullback of some sort, level 3, level 4 pullback on trend radar before considering longs. Mhm.
The next symbol is ARKK.
ARKK, okay. ARK Innovation ETF. All right, let's have a look here. What's going on here? Oh, is this a little, where are we coming from? Okay, bullish since December 2023. We lost support here. Now we're approaching support. Yeah, I'll be careful with this one too. Remember when I said it really matters from where you approach your level? Here we are approaching this level here from the downside, meaning it will act as resistance or may act as resistance. Getting long here, maybe a bit risky because we don't have much room left until we hit this level. So I'll be perhaps a bit careful with that.
Next one is CLS.
ELS?
CLS.
Oh, oh, Celeste. We just had this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Celestica.
How about YUM? YUM.
Yeah, YUM. All right. Yum Brands. Okay. Let's have a look. Bullish for 265 trading days. We just broke above resistance. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a good sign that we broke above resistance. I personally very rarely trade the breakout trade anymore. The reason being, let me just hide some of the labels here because it makes it a bit cluttered. Just a second. The reason being is that uh, we oftentimes see a pullback back to the level shortly afterwards. So I wait for this pullback first and then I enter long instead of just jumping in right now. Why is that? Because then we already had the pullback behind us with a bit of a healthy pullback situation as a trend radar. And then I think this gives a better moment for prices to continue its grind higher. So would I enter right now? Probably not, just because of the reason I would wait for this pullback and then potentially enter once we get somewhere this level, maybe up first and then down, and then potentially enter into a long trade. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel, you're all good.
All right, perfect. So let me quickly also open up the Q&A. Perfect. I think there's one more. There's ARKK. Let me just check this one out. Uh-huh. What is this one here? Oh no, ARK. Yeah, you had this one, Nicholas. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Seasonal uptrend in March. Yeah, that's actually Harik for Yum. So let me just go back to Yum again. Uh, You know what we have in mind for our dashboard? Actually, we have so many plans. It's such a long list. It's just I wish I had more resources to work on it. Is to add seasonality information to the dashboard. This is something we're working on, and we want to do it in a way which is kind of new and exciting, not just the regular stuff. So we're still working on the concepts, but that's definitely something we want to do and add to the dashboard. Absolutely. Some seasonal patterns, some information about, hey, which month, seasonally speaking, is a strong month for a stock, which one is a weaker one, whatever it might be. So all these statistics is something we have in mind. And that means on Celestica, earnings is on. Yeah, I think there's a small bug in the dashboard right now. We're going to fix this one. But yeah, Nicholas, can you note this down, please? The earnings for Celestica, there's something off with that read. Yeah, perfect. All right, great. So I'm going to go back to my slides real quick and remind you to download our ebook. And most importantly, if you don't have access yet to our great trade scanner, you can see all the interesting setups that you can find in just a couple of mouse clicks. Check it out at tradingindicators.com/view. You can try it out for a full week, completely free. You will not be charged within that week, but and you can cancel anytime. But if you, of course, if you want to stick around, we have interesting monthly and yearly options as well. And lastly, if there are any questions which weren't answered yet, don't be shy. Reach out to us via our homepage, tradingindicators.com. Go to support, and then contact. Put your question into the contact form, submit it, and it will come straight to my inbox. Sometimes that takes me a little while to answer because I have so many things going on. But eventually, we're going to get to all your questions, and we're going to get an answer from me or Homer or Nicholas. Yeah, that will hopefully help you. And Lynette is asking, which moving averages are we using? It's not so easy to answer because it's not something like a classic moving average. You can see these lines here. These are all multi-time frame moving averages, meaning we go to other time frames than the chart time frame to get MA information, then we fuse it all together, and then we display it on the chart. So it's not an easy answer. It's also a bit of a secret sauce in that sense. All right. Great, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Recover, get some energy for the next week. I believe it's going to be an exciting, an interesting one at least. And hopefully see you soon at our next event, which is already on Tuesday for our Lunch and Learn session. All right, guys. With that, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye, guys.